Yes, there are things about my appearance that I would change. I don't know if I want to tell anyone what those things are, because then everyone will know what those things are. Would you like me to tell you what I would like to change? I'd like to change my nose. Yeah, and I'd like to change my thighs. I think my thighs are really big. And I think my nose, when I smile, is horrible for my profile. I think it's called tweaking what they do. And it's just a little bit. But then, you know, after thinking about all these questions that you brought me, I was like, oh my God, I shouldn't even say those things anymore. Like, it's really made me feel like that's so minor. So that's why I'm saying I like the fact that I'm awakening slowly, you know. I'm getting the brainwashing is dying out on me. So my name's Alma. I'm from London. I lived in London my whole life, so I'm a Londoner. My mother's Tanzanian and my father's Egyptian and Somalian. Sadly, yes, I do think appearance matters. It matters a bit more than it should do, and I think we're all guilty of that. I saw a meme the other day online that said that every day women are shown over 400 advertisements of how they should look or what they should be, you know, what weight they should be. So if this is bombarded to you every day through every social media that you have, of course eventually you're going to think your looks are important. And I guess, you know, when they say don't judge a book by its cover, that is the first thing that people do. They do judge a book by its cover. I became aware of my appearance very young because I went to predominantly white schools. So, you know, I immediately knew that I was different. I mean, I couldn't pinpoint to you what it was that was different about me, obviously apart from my skin color and my hair. Other than that, I wouldn't, you know, I knew that those were two things that I knew I was different about me. But yeah, from a very young age, being in a predominantly white school and living in predominantly white areas, I obviously knew that I was different. And I remember when we used to take school photos, and some boy said like, no, one of the girls said like, oh look, there's like a fly on the photo. Because it was just like all white people and then me. Yes and no. Sometimes I feel beautiful and sometimes I don't feel beautiful. I think when I was younger, all I wanted to do was fit in. I just didn't want to stick out. As I get a bit older, I think I'm starting to feel more beautiful, you know. But yeah, I've had like, you know, I've had so many insecurities about the way I look. So it's a really weird thing, you know? It's really hard when you grow up around everyone not looking this, you know, around people who all, they all look the same, but you don't look the same as them. And I think when you're young, you just want to fit in. And then you have it sort of programmed into your head, and obviously because of what the media shows you and how what you see, you sort of constantly searching for this thing to look a certain way of what supposedly society says you should look like. And you know, it gets better with age because I think, you know, you see things more and you travel and you know, the social media has helped a lot to expose you to you know, things in other parts of the world. So I think with age it's gotten better, but yeah, I think therapy. No, I think that I think what's helping me is, I think, you know, it's learning to accept yourself. I'm not lying through therapy as well. I'm one of those people who, people always say to me, oh Alma, you know, you're very beautiful, you know, and it's really funny because it's really, you know, someone can say it to you as much as they want to, but until you believe it yourself, it makes absolutely no difference how many times someone says it to you. There's like a black renaissance happening right now, you know? There's so much on social media, so many documentaries coming out and, you know, books being written. And I think seeing that and being exposed to that more and more makes me feel that I'm all right more and more. Because I'm seeing a side of my people and my culture that I wasn't exposed to for, you know, me growing up. And you know, please don't get it wrong, it's not like my mother did me wrong. She didn't, like, you know, I think it's just very different for her because obviously she grew up in Africa. but it's different when you've grown up here. Because my mother's just like, what do you mean? You know, you're okay, it's fine, you're very busy. What are you talking about? But it's like, you don't get it, you didn't grow up surrounded by white people. You know, you grew up in Africa and then you came here, a fully grown woman, you know, with her right, you know, because those are the developing years are the most important ones, you know. That's when you start knowing yourself. So I think I'm a bit behind, but I'm getting there. I think what makes me beautiful is my personality. I think I'm quite fun and outgoing, you know, I'm quite funny, got good banter. I think I'm quite easy to talk to, and I think you know, I can fit in anywhere. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I think I'm quite adventurous, and I think that's what I'd say makes me attractive. If I could send a message to women all over the world about beauty, I would say that the parameters of beauty shouldn't be measured by your exteriors, but by the depth of your character and humanity. And I feel like if that happened more, women would unite more and empower each other more. But I feel as long as we're having 400 advertisements bombarded to us every day about how we should look, what weight we should be, what our hair should be like, I think that's probably one of the biggest things that creates friction between women really uniting.